Hi everyone. I just thought that it would be a really great idea to record a tutorial for you. And this morning I'm just reading from Psalms 42 in verse 7 and 8. And I just love the Bethel song that says, deep cries out to deep. And it says in verse 7 that deep calls to deep at the roar of your waterfalls. All the breakers and your waves have gone over me. By the day the Lord commands his steadfast love, and at night his song is within me. So I've just measured out the margins of my Bible, and they just happen to be 5 centimetres by 17. So I've measured that out and put it onto some watercolour paper, and then just put a light wash of blue in the background with some quite pale blue watercolour paint, and then just dabbed some outlines for my waterfall on top, and with some trees and things like that in the background, which I'll go through in a second. So I'm just using my watercolours here to go over that background of that waterfall, and then put some trees in the corners, which I'm eventually going to cut the sides off so that it makes a tip in, but just to give me that kind of outline. So I've put the main stem of the tree down the middle in brown, and then just using the flat-headed brush to make kind of side-to-side motions in a variety of different greens and browns to just give me that outline of the trees and that kind of depth in my image. And then if I go in with a much paler brush with a kind of more grey tinge to the blue, it just gives me that depth in the background to do the sky and the trees just above the waterfall, doing exactly the same technique as I did before in the bottom, just working side to side in quite light brush strokes, and cleaning off my brush and just grabbing some clear water just to thin that paint down a little bit. So as it's drying, I'm just going back in with a slightly deeper green colour, and then I've decided to just swap to my acrylics. I didn't really like the transparency of it, so I thought I'd go with a more opaque style. So I grabbed a couple of blues from my Liquitech Basics pack and just started dabbing all the blues and greens and whites all through the waterfall, just to give me that difference in colour that will just give it that realistic impression. Starting off with a really defined edge at the top of my waterfall. So here you can see I've just started building up the whites and the blues to start to give it that depth, and just pulling them all together so that they blend really nicely. And I'm just trying to create that foam, that kind of action, that torrent at the bottom of my waterfall, just with the end of a really dense brush, just dabbing it on the bottom to create that kind of bubbling effect at the bottom. So now once I've got my waterfall and I'm pretty happy with it, I'm going to start going back over the trees with some more dark colours, starting with the acrylics. I've watered them down a little bit, but mainly just so that it goes on the watercolour paper a little bit better. So just going in with those dark browns and thinning them out slightly to give me that depth for the perspective, and decided that it was a little bit bare on the other side, so I'm going to just place a tree on the other side as well, but that's really going to be quite cut off in my background eventually. So as you can see, I'm getting a really defined bark, a really good stem in the middle, and then just using the paler green colours and mixing them together with some of those browns, and then dragging them from side to side, just cleaning off my brush slightly so that they're not as opaque. They've got more of a translucent effect. And then just going to do the same on the other side. It's not as important on this side because it's going to mainly disappear into the waterfall, but I think it just gives that nice sense of balance on the page and helps to kind of bring the whole thing together. So it'd be great if you could like this video. That would be really cool. It's the first one I've done, so I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope it's useful for somebody out there. So I'm just going to start to put the stones and the rocks at the top of our waterfall to kind of bring it all together. I wasn't really liking the top, it was looking a bit bare, a bit blank, so I kind of felt like it needed a bit of a stream. So I'm going to place a stream in the top in a minute, and starting to think about what it's going to look like as I cut it down and turn it into a tip-in, and it just gives you that really great amount of space where you can journal in the inside of your Bible. That I can do a little bit later in my own quiet time with the Lord, and just add that insight and time to really reflect on the verse. You know, that the Spirit just intercedes with groanings for us. The deep calls out to the deep when we don't know what to say, and when we don't know how to respond to the Lord. He just knows exactly what to say and exactly what we're thinking and feeling, and I just find so much comfort in that. It's really amazing. So I'm going to start to put in this lake at the top and surround it with trees. And I mean, who's going to draw a little forest without some little birds in the background? So I'm going to put in some tiny little birds in a second, just little V's in the sky, give the emphasis of some birds flying around in our forest, and add some white in there just to give it a little bit more depth, a little bit more interest. Kitchen paper is everyone's best friend. I mean, come on. It's like the best mistake remover ever. Yeah, sorry guys, as I said, first video, head's in the way quite a lot, but you get the idea. So there you go. Now I've finished my painting, I just dried it off with my heat gun and then cut it out to 5 centimetres by 17. Put a little bit of washi tape down the side and just stuck it onto the inside of my Bible. Didn't really want to see the washi tape, so it's just on the inside of the tip-in. And then just grab my alpha stickers. These ones are from Hobbycraft, the foam-backed ones. And then just using the Freckle and Fawn alpha stamps, just to stamp out cries there, just in a black outline, just to give me a kind of outline to do my writing. My handwriting's not the best handwriting in the world, so I'm just going to stamp it out, give me a little bit of an outline, and then just go over it with my white Uniball Signio pen, literally the best white pen you can use in your Bible. Honestly, it's so opaque, so great, it really is. And I just love using alphas. They are so much easier than having to write. So much easier than looking at your own handwriting. Some people have beautiful handwriting. Mine is not one of them. So I just find them so easy and just so great to use in the inside of your Bible. And then just some little scrapbooking stickers for the out to. I think they're really cute. I use them quite a lot on the inside of my Bible. They're perfect size. And then again, just going around them in white just to make them pop out from the colour a little bit more. So there you have it. There's the inside of the tip in. I'll add my journaling later, and just trim off the edges so that they don't fall over and stick out the edge. So I'm just going to make my own little tab at the top. I couldn't really find anything in my stash to fit with the colour scheme, so I've just put some watercolours onto the same watercolour paper that I cut off the edge before, folded it in half, and just going to cut out my tab. That gives you that really great double-sided tab, which I love. They kind of don't fall off your pages as much, which is great. And then just going to use the stamps from the Illustrated Faith collection to add some little trees in the background and just handwrite onto the top the words deep, so that I can find it in the future and just go back to it really easily. So my favourite ink for using in my Bible is my black StazOn. It's perfect for watercolours, it doesn't run, it doesn't bleed through, it gives a slight shadow. If that's not what you like, then you might want to pick a different one, or there's always the option of using gesso on the inside, but I don't mind the shadow, so it works really, really great, especially when you're using quite a lot of water in your Bible. So there you have it, with verses 7 and 8 just highlighted there in blue. So I really hope that you've enjoyed this. Let me know if you want me to do another one, or if you want me to do some more. God bless. Take care.